In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills, there lived a man named Thomas. Known for his hard work and dedication, he was also infamous for his quick temper. Small frustrations could easily ignite his anger, causing him to lash out at friends, family, and colleagues. Despite the love they had for him, many felt they had to walk on eggshells around Thomas. One evening after a long day at work, Thomas returned home to find that his teenage son, Jake, had not completed his chores. The sight of the messy living room fueled the fire within him. Instead of calmly discussing the issue with Jake, Thomas exploded in anger. Words flew like arrows as he berated his son for being irresponsible and lazy. Jake stood frozen in silence, hurt flashing across his face. The next morning, Thomas awoke to an uneasy atmosphere in the house. Jake had left early without saying goodbye, leaving behind a note that simply read, "I can't take this anymore." Panic washed over Thomas as he realized that his outburst might have driven a wedge between them. Days turned into weeks with no sign of reconciliation. Thomas continued with his routine, but felt an emptiness growing inside him. He tried reaching out to Jake through texts and calls, but each attempt went unanswered. The weight of regret pressed heavily upon him. He recognized that he had let anger dictate his actions. One afternoon, while returning from work, Thomas noticed a group of teenagers gathered near the park where Jake often hung out. A flicker of hope ignited within him as he approached them cautiously and asked if anyone had seen Jake. One girl stepped forward and said she saw him earlier that week. She mentioned that he was spending time with friends who accepted him without judgment. Determined to mend their relationship, Thomas made a choice to confront his anger head-on, instead of letting it control him further. That weekend, he prepared a simple dinner and set a place for Jake at the table, hoping against hope that he would return. As evening fell, there was a soft knock at the door. With trembling hands, Thomas opened it to find Jake standing there hesitantly. The silence stretched between them like an unspoken chasm filled with hurt and misunderstanding. "I'm sorry," Thomas began quietly after what felt like hours had passed. "I shouldn't have yelled at you like that." Jake's eyes softened slightly as he replied, "It's just hard sometimes when you get angry over little things." They both stood there for what seemed like an eternity before stepping into each other's space for an embrace, one filled with mutual understanding rather than resentment. From that moment forward, both father and son committed to communicating openly about their feelings, instead of allowing anger to fester beneath the surface. They learned together how to express themselves without resorting to harsh words or reactions. The consequences of anger lingered in their minds, as a reminder of how quickly relationships could be strained or even shattered by unchecked emotions. But instead of dwelling on past mistakes, they chose to focus on building trust and understanding in their bond moving forward. In time, the echoes of that angry night faded into lessons learned, grounding them in compassion and patience toward one another while fostering growth in their relationship amidst life's inevitable challenges.